What is going on, Moto MMA fans? It's your boy Jason Boss hitting you up with another video. Been a long time since we talked, but you know what I'm saying, glad to get back to you. If you could, please always comment, like, subscribe. It's been a crazy week for me, man. Mrs. Moto MMA is just coming out of the hospital. I mean, it's been something different. So I'm gonna hit you up with a different tone for this video. Okay, so we got Logan Paul getting ready for Floyd Mayweather. We got Jake Paul getting ready to go to Showtime. And we also have some talks of Michael J. White feeling more and more like a real fighter. My question is, can you be a celebrity and be a real fighter? We're going to talk about that in just a second, guys. All right, guys. So, Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather is getting ready to go to war. Now, I've heard a lot of good things about Logan Paul, but I've also heard a lot of negative things about Logan Paul and his training as well. From most of the sparring footage that I've seen, Logan Paul has some habits that really hasn't changed in their boxing matches coming up very soon. I believe it's on the 4th or 7th of next month. I'll have the poster up, I'm sure, on the video. But with their boxing match coming up, those habits that he hasn't really changed. Now, those could be trolling videos, but I think from what we saw with Ben Askren, a lot of times what we see is what we get. The biggest problem I'm seeing with Logan Paul is he has a tendency to drop his hands down. Like his punches come from like chest level up all the time instead of staying right here. You know what I mean? So the problem with that is you get a lot of lazy jabs. You get a lot of when, especially when you get tired, they start getting really low, like mid chest level. And for Floyd, somebody who's a really good counter striker or whatever have you, I think that could present some serious problems for Logan. You know what I'm saying? It's going to make him a little bit slower because he's already heavier or whatever have you. Now, I know a lot of people say if Logan can manage distance and Logan has more speed over Floyd, he should be able to beat him because he is stronger. But that's something that, like I said, we haven't really seen yet because he's still a fairly new boxer. I respect Logan Paul a little bit more than what I did Jake in the beginning. But however, Jake is slowly but surely gaining, I think, respect in my eyes and probably a lot of other fighters, especially with the new news that we just heard. Jake Paul just signed to fight with Showtime. Now, what does this say for Jake Paul? This means Jake Paul is going to end up having to fight a real boxer. Now, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of Jake Paul fans like the image of Jake Paul, you know, seeming unbeatable and all this kind of stuff. And they want to say, well, it's a character that Jake Paul plays. You know what I mean? When he's boxing. But I'm here to tell you guys, it's not a character, okay? You know, maybe at first it was kind of a character. But when you are training with fighters, you're around fighters, you're sweating with fighters, you're doing things that make you feel and become a fighter, the character dies, you know what I mean? Or excuse me, the person dies and the character begins to live. You become that fighter over time. And I think with Jake Paul, that's what's happening. There's a part of Jake Paul that no longer wants to be seen as Jake Paul, the YouTuber. There's a part of Jake Paul that is beginning to want to be seen as Jake Paul, the boxer. If you've never been around the ring and you've never been around it, you just won't understand. There is a part of Jake Paul, I think, that wants to be considered legit, that wants to be considered good. I mean, think about it. His brother, Logan Paul, Logan is in a match first off, in the very beginning, Logan's matches were either even, wasn't people that was underneath him, they were about even, or now he's fighting like the best in the world. You know what I mean? So Logan Paul's matches all seem like this air of legitimacy and danger. You know what I mean? But Jake feels like he's a better boxer than Logan. And when you hear all the time, and I'm sure Jake hears it too, Jake Paul's avoiding real boxers. Jake Paul's avoiding real fights. Jake Paul won't take on anybody that's a striker. Jake Paul only wants to, take on grapplers or whatever. Jake Paul is just a YouTuber. And you're around fighting, that gets to you. When people have to motivate you to make you feel like you're a real fighter, it begins to get to you a little bit. So there is a small chance, guys, that Jake Paul might actually be really turning into a real boxer or wanting to test the waters. He does have his fears and his holdbacks, I assure you. He does, because he doesn't know the outcome of it. But I will say, with him going to Showtime is a more legit organization. With leaving Triller behind, I think it will be very soon when we find out what Jake Paul is really made of. I don't know who he'll be fighting, you know what I mean? Whether it would be another low-level boxer on the same level as him, you know what I mean? And him just kind of showing us, hey, I can climb to the ranks a little bit, or whether he's going to be fighting someone like Tyson Fury's brother, and showing I'm up here, I'm ready. I don't know. But if you think Jake Paul is just a character, or you think Jake Paul isn't a boxer, I kind of think Jake Paul is trying to become one, regardless of what we think. I really think that's his goal. So, hey, mad props to Jake. I will definitely always say mad props to Logan because, man, you started at the top of the mountain. You have a puncher's chance of winning, my friend, and that's about it. Now, on to the infamous Michael J. White. I have had a couple people ask me about this, so I'm just going to address this real quick. Do I think Michael J. White is a real fighter? The answer is no. He is a real martial artist, guys. He's good at what he does. He does know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He obviously has a sense of like the kickboxing, the Muay Thai, but I think he has like karate, different backgrounds. He has a few different black belts. The guy is a real life martial artist, but that doesn't make you a fighter. In his mind, is he a real life fighter? Absolutely. This guy says he can go beat Mike Perry. He claims he can go beat this person, that person, and so many others. You know what I mean? And the money part is the reason why he won't fight. That's not it at all. There's a part of him that kind of doubts his talk too. And he's a little bit afraid to back that up because he knows, you know what I'm saying? Being proven wrong, that's the end of that movie career that you have too, where you were this like a mystic martial arts guru. I mean, guys, you can't be a fighter. You can't be a fighter without fighting. If you are a good martial artist or you are a good actor, you're always going to come out looking on top because of, your scenarios, your setups, you know what I mean? Especially with acting, that kind of stuff is going to make you look good. Fighting is raw. There's no scenarios. There's no setups. There's no demonstrations. There's no, okay, you hold your fist out here. I'm going to block here, do this, and that. And that's, you know what I'm saying, going to be the outcome. It's kind of like, if you guys ever practice, you know what I'm saying, if you ever practice boxing or even MMA or whatever, when you're practicing slipping, you know what I'm saying, there's a scenario you can set up to make your partner feel like he's good at slipping punches. The problem you have, like a lot of times, right, when the coach is telling you to throw punches at your partner's slipping, the person is throwing punches like this. Boom. 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 So you got your partner feeling like he's invincible, but the punches are going straight past me. Straight past me. You can make a person look good, right? You're setting this scenario. And that's what these celebrities and stuff like that, these untrained, or unrealistic, fighters who haven't really fought, that's what they're getting. They're getting this scenario. Whoop, whoop. And they're like, oh man, that looks so beautiful. Whoop, oh, I can dodge and, I got it made, I'm this and that, but they haven't really been put through the fire yet, guys. Michael J. White's not been really put through the fire. I've seen all his sparring footages and stuff like that. Some of the older stuff, even some of the newer stuff, and it's very controlled, it's very tame. He's not had someone try to really take his head off, try to really beat him up. So for me to say that Michael J. White is a fighter, it can definitely go on and just beat all these people. No, could he maybe have been? Absolutely. The guy definitely seems to be someone that likes to work out. He does seem to be someone that loves the martial arts. But am I gonna say that he can beat half the people he can beat? No. He can say that all he wants and never have to prove it. So therefore, I'm like, sorry, dude. I can't say that you're the man without having to prove that you are the man. Sorry, but that's just my opinion, guys. Again, if you could please comment, like, subscribe, man, I really appreciate it. Trying to get the numbers up, guys. It's been a long, tough road, but your boy's back. All right, love you all. Peace.